On today's Too Close to Call, it's a slow sports week out there, so Pags and I start off by discussing the Oscar winners, and Green Book as well as Bohemian Rhapsody are all over the winners from Sunday evening. We also talk about how the hostless Oscars is the future. After this, we talk about Robert Kraft going down to the Rub and Tug in Florida, in Jupiter, Florida, where it has come out and been reported that he received oral sex the morning of the AFC Championship game. He was down in Jupiter getting a blowjob and then flew up to Kansas City before they won the AFC title. So, has anybody had a better day than Robert Kraft on that day? After this, we jump into our Philly sports talk, where we discuss the Flyers-Penguins Stadium Series game, which took place in Lincoln Financial Field, and the Flyers keeping their playoff hopes alive, albeit very slim. We then discuss the Embiid-less Sixers and if they'll be able to pull out these next two games against the Thunder and Golden State Warriors, as well as the same old on the Bryce Harper saga. Apparently now, though, the Dodgers are coming in late with a short-term offer. It's down to the Dodgers short-term, Giants mid-term, and Phillies long-term, but hopefully there should be a resolution by the end of the week. We wrap up this segment with the flirtatious tweet from Antonio Brown that discussed possibly becoming a Philadelphia Eagle, and the responses by Malcolm Jenkins, Fletcher Cox, and Lane Johnson essentially urging him to join us here in Philadelphia. We talk about whether there's any chance of that, and if you would rather have Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell. To end the show, we discuss our fantasy football results from the AAF and ultimately what we expect moving forward in this league, and if they're even going to have a league for the rest of the spring. But as always, none of this is possible without our sponsor, The Ram King. Visit www.theramking.com for all your t-shirt needs. The Ram King, the custom t-shirt king. Guys, I just posted on our Instagram some of the prices that the Ram King's offering, and if you didn't see those and you're listening to this, let's just say it's $9 a shirt for 25 shirts, $7.50 a shirt for 50 shirts, $6.50 for 100 shirts. Guys, that's already a ridiculous price. I know I go online and every t-shirt, if you buy a one-by-one, is $20, $25, $30. So if you're ever going to need shirts for any occasion, $9 for 25 shirts, I know plenty of groups will pay for that. So tell your friends to use the Ram King, and it's easy, it's simple. All you got to do is visit www.theramking.com, type in the 2Close2Call podcast from where you heard him from, and maybe he'll even take a little bit off that price I just shared with you guys. So without further ado, let's get to the show.
Coach, you were 5-79 last year. Why the playoff talk?
Well, we made a couple of key trades, and we got the funk.
Oh, well, glory be, the funk's on me, Bobby.
Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we'll just be keeping the funk alive. So what that?
Aloha and hello and welcome to the 18th episode of the Too Close to Call podcast. I'm your co-host Miho, as always, here with my boy Pags. Pags, what's going on, man? Another weekend in the books.
It's good, Miho. What's going on?
Oh, shit, dude. Monday night, right? Here we are again. Like I mentioned, another weekend down. First birthday party wrapped up.
Yeah, man. I remember James's first birthday party, and it was just anxiety and stress. How was that for you?
Honestly, man, I didn't get involved a whole hell of a lot. I told the wife very early on, I don't want anything to do with this party, so I'm going to be on the outside looking in. Let me know. I helped set up, but I wasn't involved in any of the purchasing of any of the goods.
Yeah, that's about right. And the putting together of everything at the end after you get all the gifts is always fun. That's a good dad job to have.
Well, we got the trampoline from you, which you were so nice as to pre-assemble for us, which Izzy's been bouncing around on the trampoline already. We also got a water toy table of some sorts that should be good for coming up here in the spring. And there was one more thing. Oh, yes, the basketball hoop with the basketball. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, we also got the golf clubs from Little Tykes as well.
Get her out there early.
That's right. Get her on the range. Get her going. Hey, that made for a long Saturday.
I will say the water table is crucial when it's nice out and you just want to sit outside. They'll play on those water tables for hours. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, man. But it was a pretty relaxing Sunday after a busy Saturday.
Well, that's good. And the cleanup probably wasn't too bad. We got out of there around 8, so just in time to get back and get ready for an old Sunday of no eventful sports happening. It was a little dead weekend.
Yeah, Christ, man. We had to watch the Oscars on Sunday night because there was nothing going on. Did you watch that? Did you check it out?
I did, and I thought it was a little interesting, the no host thing. It went faster, which is something I enjoy. Honestly, I'm just waiting for the final 5 things to be announced, so it's just like agonizing sitting through cinematography and all that crap.
Best original screenplay and best animation and things like that. It's like, hey, hit me with best actor, best supporting actor or actress, best movie, maybe a soundtrack in there, but I'm not here for all these one-off kind of who the hell are you Oscars.
Well, they hit you with this best supporting right off the bat. So you get that. And
a little appetizer for you.
A whole middle of like best foreign film and best adaptation and best short film, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, come on, just tell us those on the commercials, like, hey, so and so won this.
So out of the winners here, let me run through these quickly, and I guess one by one you can kind of give me your thoughts, because honestly, as I've looked at these, I haven't seen any of these damn movies this year. So
dude, it's so funny. Usually I try to make a point to see some of them, and just you can attest to this, having a child, it's just like, do I want to spend my night going to the movies, or would I rather just relax or whatever? It's just different now.
The best picture was The Green Book, which was the movie with Aragorn from The Lord of the Rings.
Hey,
guarding, being the guy's personal bodyguard in the South and things like that. I remember seeing those trailers, but apparently that was a really good flick.
Yeah, I really want to see that. Mahershala Ali. He just finished up True Detective Season 3, which I'm antsy to watch. The season finale happened yesterday, so he's an awesome actor. Anything he's in, I'm going to see. And he won Best Supporting. Definitely going to check that flick out.
Yeah, there you go. So multiple wins for The Green Book. Saw that a couple of times, like you said, supporting actor. Regina King, fortunate enough to survive Joel Embiid the other week, almost kicking her head off. She actually won Best Supporting Actress, so thank God she was able to attend.
Yeah, no marks on her face or anything, so that's good.
Right? Best actor was Rami Malek from whatever the hell you say his name, from Bohemian Rhapsody. I saw that. Just made it to Redbox, so I'm looking forward to getting that one for $2 here in the near future.
Dude, Queen was all over the Oscars last night. Every commercial had a Queen song on it. I loved it. I can't wait to see that movie either.
Olivia Colman won Best Actress. Again, sorry, Olivia. I don't know who you are.
She had a really good speech at the end. She was like, kids, I don't know if you're up. I hope you are, because mommy's never winning this again. She was basically like, just like calling it out, like, I don't know how this happened. It's never going to happen again.
Right, and then the best director went to the person who directed Roma. I don't even have their name in front of me, so I apologize to them, and I've never heard of that movie. So.
He won for Gravity, which was a pretty good film. Did you see that one with George Clooney?
Yep, I know that one.
Sandra Bullock? Yeah, he directed that. That won Best Foreign Film, and he won Best Director. So the guy's got a track record of good movies.
Dude, you're right. But the no host thing is an interesting take, man. I've seen people on both sides of it. Some people are like, what the hell's going on? There's no direction. We have no idea what's coming. And then other people are like, hey, I'm sick and tired of seeing Jimmy Kimmel bring the tour through the Oscars or buying pizza for the random celebrities and models and just killing time. And it's like, is this good television? No, this is not good television. Why the fuck do we need Jimmy Kimmel buying pizza for Bradley Cooper? I just don't need to see it.
the best was when Ellen did it, and she took the selfie of everything. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, there you go, right? The
Ever
most
since
tweeted
that, it's
picture
kinda
or
went
whatever,
downhill.
right?
Yeah, she was good. Honestly, I didn't even know there wasn't going to be a host. I know there was some controversy with Kevin Hart and everything, so I thought they were just going back to Jimmy Kimmel. I was like, there hasn't been a host. I haven't seen anything. And Alyssa was like, yeah, I don't think there is a host. I was like,
Yeah, they
Well,
never
clearly.
replaced Kevin Hart. They just said, fuck it, we're going with nobody.
Went fast, and that's what I like out of my award shows.
Definitely, man, for sure. And like you mentioned, a slow sports weekend. However, there was one major bombshell breaking news that had to do with the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. The owner, Robert Kraft, liked to have a little bit of fun down in Florida, hit up orchards or orchids, whatever the hell it's called, and was involved in the prostitution / sex trafficking investigation by the Jupiter police, man. That's ridiculous.
Dude, did you see Martellus Bennett? He had the most ridiculous tweet I've ever seen. He tweets out, "Pussy in Jupiter must be out of this world." That was his tweet. Obviously a former player of Robert Kraft's. He just was like, hey, go get it, Robert.
Two things popped into my head here. One has to do with kind of on the field ramifications. So we'll start there, which is, what do you think the NFL is going to do for this? Obviously, they can't make him sell the franchise, or, he's devaluing the product, blah, blah, blah. But there's got to be some sort of repercussion. Is it a fine? Is it draft picks? I forget who it was, but there was a tweet out there by a previous NFL player. I don't think he was a Patriot, but he was like, they should take away their first, second, and third round picks and teach them a lesson.
That's a tough situation because it has nothing to do with football. Like, they lost their first pick for Spygate, but that had something to affect the players on the field.
Right.
The first thought when you asked me that question, I was like, I guess draft picks and a fine. That's the only thing I could think of. They're not going to make them give back their Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, they can't do that.
So the only thing that would hurt him is the draft picks, because the guy's got enough money to pay whatever the hell the fine is.
Right. And I think that's the route they'll ultimately end up going.
Second of all, I thought to myself, oh, geez, no wonder why players who are accused of domestic violence or small misdemeanors keep getting jobs, because the owners themselves are going to get fucking rubbing tugs down in Florida anyway.
I call violation on Robert Kraft. You are a billionaire, multi-billionaire. What the hell are you doing paying for sex?
Oh, dude, he's paying for sex everywhere. That's what you do with all that money. You just go around and bang the hottest chicks probably in every city you go to while you're married to some smoke show at home.
Oh, God. It's just idiotic to me. There's no way he could go in there and be like, this will end up well for me. I'm just surprised Michael Rubin and freaking Meek Mill didn't pop up, because they seem to be everywhere together.
Right? Maybe they were under some of those pseudo names. I saw the list on Twitter, and one of them was like Jack Johnson. I know that's a singer, but it was clearly a reference to the penis with the Johnson. There was like a Richard Dick or something like that on the list. And I'm like, well, at least half of these people have the somewhat fucking savvy to put a fake name down here. And in comes Bobby Kraft, living large.
I could just see Meek Mill being like, yo, dude, I don't pay for sex, and I'm not getting fucking trouble for this.
Right? Yeah, dude, apparently private planes were landing like behind a strip mall somewhere locally, and then they were going into this spa and then just fucking leaving.
What the hell is wrong with these guys? That is just
right.
So
and then
idiotic.
You get Kareem Hunt. Well, how does he have a job? I don't know, because the fucking owner's getting rubbing tugs. So, maybe what you did isn't terrible. Like pot calling the kettle black here. You know what I'm saying?
You're 100% right. Everybody's at fault in the NFL.
Right.
And probably in every league everywhere.
Oh, goodness. But anyway, Pags, like I mentioned in the intro, it's our 18th episode here of the Too Close to Call cast. Did some research looking into our favorite number 18s. I'll go first and lead it off. I have two options I'm choosing from, which are one former Eagle, Jeremy Maclin, wide receiver out of Mizzou, first-round pick, had some good years, and then we moved on from him. And the other one is a former Flyer who I am ultimately going to choose, and that is Mike Richards, the former captain.
There you go. Love Mike Richards. He was ballsy enough to pick up the, what's the trophy they get for winning the Eastern Conference? It was like, oh, that's not going to bode well for us in the Stanley Cup. And it didn't. But Yeah, those are two solid picks. Jeremy Maclin, obviously, stud. He was one of the first guys to take that show me contract. He took that 1 year post ACL tear and ended up balling out in the Chip Kelly offense that year, so it worked out for him.
And then Mike Richards, I always appreciated his honesty because there's rumors of Sobriety Island in the locker room, and him and Jeff Carter would just refuse to put their names into the hat that basically said, hey, we're not going to get hammered during the season. So as captain of the team, he was more or less like, nah, I'm going to go get fucked up, and then I'm going to ball out here. So mind your business.
Teams that party together win together. And
That's right.
Fully endorse that statement.
Oh, man. But anyway, who are your 18s? Who do you got?
You know, it was slim pickings out there. The one that kept popping up in my head, that was the most obvious of choices. Peyton Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion, one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, and also hilarious human being. I go Peyton. I always enjoyed watching Peyton running the offense from the field. He was one of the first to ever really do that we never seen. And just him going to Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, it was electric to watch.
Yeah, like you said, a hilarious man. I mean, the Saturday Night Live where he's pegging the kids who are running routes, and I believe it's the national commercial or whoever where he's like, cut that meat. To pump that gas. He's a fan of the people instead of the people being a fan of his. That's hilarious.
The best part of that Saturday Night Live is where he's like, all right, who all wants to go live in my mansion? Yay! No, relax, kids. I'm just fucking with you. If you were going to go Peyton, I was going to let you go first. If you were going to go Peyton, I could not think of a number 18. So kudos to you pulling out Richards and Maclin. I was going to go the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champions.
Lame.
Oh, that would have been awesome. But I'll stick with Peyton Manning.
Oh, that's a good one.
Question. What kind of bear is best?
That's a ridiculous question.
False. Black bear.
Well, that's debatable. There are basically two schools of thought.
Fact. Bears eat beets.
Oh.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Bears do not... What is going on? What are you doing? Last week, I was in a drugstore, and I saw these glasses. $4. And it only cost me $7 to recreate the rest of the ensemble, and that's a grand total of $11. You know what? Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, so I thank you. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year. Michael! Oh, that's funny. Michael!
So speaking of Peyton Manning, while we are here starving for football, there was a hockey game in a football stadium.
The Stadium Series, the Flyers versus the Penguins in Lincoln Financial Field, the home of the Eagles, in a rain downpour throughout part of the game, man. That looked pretty miserable for the fans in attendance, but it was still pretty close to a sellout, so I'll give credit to the crowd.
How did those guys play in conditions like that? I read something that their visors were fogging up and everything like that. I can't imagine skating on already slippery surface with it raining on top of it being an easy task.
Well, it slows down the ice itself. If you noticed, like a lot of the passes, they had to pass harder and faster than typically, and the puck itself, like when they were skating with it, they pretty much had to carry it instead of kind of push it ahead and go getting it. So you saw that at the end of the game. It benefits the team with the puck because it was 3-1 in the third period, this standard Penguins game. Sidney Crosby scores early on a turnover. He's just in the right place at the right time. The Flyers can't find the back of the net, and all of a sudden here we got a power play where we're in full pressure mode, and I don't think the Penguins touched the puck for the last 4 minutes because the Flyers did a great job of just cycling and maintaining control, and because there weren't any long passes or stretch passes because of the ice conditions, they were able to keep it and get 2 goals late.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that goal by Voracek goes in if the conditions aren't as bad as they are.
Yeah, and if he can't like barely see the puck probably, but I have no idea how that one went in. It felt like the goal in Game 6 of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, right? Like it was
Absolutely.
Very similar.
I just loved hearing the crowd going nuts with Doc Emmerich screaming in the background. It was fun to watch.
kept our slim playoff chances alive. Pags, your bold prediction, I saw they're at 1.8% chance to make the playoffs here. So how you feeling? And that's extra bold.
Hey, bold predictions are meant to be bold.
That's right. It's not looking good now, but they're certainly not out of it. I think they're 7 points out of the last spot here with some potential roster moves happening that we'll update you guys on when they become available to us. And at the Flyers game, Pags, I'm sure you noticed this pregame, but they had some Eagles, Phillies, and Sixers on site for some of the festivities. They had the new guys, Bobby and Toby, on site, dude. Did you see how fucking hilarious it was seeing 7'3" Bobby, 6'11" Toby, 6'4" Kelsey, 6 foot J-Roll, and J-Roll looked like a child next to them.
Oh, I saw the picture of Tobias and Bobby with him, and he just looks like a midget compared to them.
So what were your thoughts about them being on the game after the stinker they threw up earlier in the day against Portland?
And I'm all for our players supporting the other teams. I love it. I loved when the Phillies were going through their Super Bowl reign, Embiid being at all the games, and I love when our other sports support the other sports, but man, that game was brutal on Saturday. They played like shit.
I know in previous episodes we talked about how they were going to go 4-1 during this stretch, but that was before we knew Joel Embiid was going to be sitting out some of these games. So Portland, easy win. Nope, not so much. I think it shows you the importance of Big Joel. And I guess I'll ask you, do you still think over these next couple of games here that they're going to be able to pull any of them out?
I sure hope they can go into New Orleans and beat New Orleans tonight. That I have confidence in. I really need Embiid back, not only just for the Russell Westbrook Embiid clash, but I just need him back to get going into this weekend with the Thunder and the Warriors. I need our entire team to be playing at a playoff level.
Yeah, they play Monday, Thursday, Saturday this week. He's already out against the Pelicans. So to your point, I don't think he's going to play at Oklahoma City, man, which fucking sucks because the Westbrook and Embiid is must-see television, especially on a Thursday night in prime time. But I do think he would love to play at home against Golden State on Saturday night in prime time again.
Absolutely. Back home, get him going. I think that's more likely what's going to happen. It does suck that the Embiid-Westbrook thing only happens twice a year, and we're going to be gypped out of it this year. But, hey, if he really needs this rest and this is going to benefit this team, then I'm all for it. So just get fucking healthy, Joe.
Yeah, as soon as possible, please. We need you for the home stretch.
I do not want to see them in the 4-5 game with the Celtics. I just will have zero confidence going into that with Brad Stevens figuring out how to shut down our team every year. I don't think I can handle another Celtics-Sixers series, especially if it's in the first round.
Yeah, no thank you, right? I'm hoping that one's even the Eastern Conference Finals, right? But,
exactly. Like, get further than last year. That's all I've asked, Sixers.
But in the meantime, we're still waiting to hear on Bryce Harper and the Phillies. The recent rumors out there are that the Los Angeles Dodgers are back involved and only on a short-term deal. So apparently Bryce has 3 options. One is on an extremely short-term deal with the LA Dodgers. The second is with a midterm deal with the San Francisco Giants. And the third is the only long-term deal he has available with the Philadelphia Phillies. So if you were in his shoes, I know he's from Las Vegas and wants to play close to home, but do you see any upside on him taking a short-term deal with either the Dodgers or, say, a 3-year deal with the Giants?
Well, what's his money going to be like in these short-term deals? Is he still making $30+ million a year?
Rumors have it probably at even more than that, so I'm thinking, it'd be 1 or 2 years at $80 million or 3 years or 4 years at $150 or something like that. So it's the difference in hundreds of millions of dollars over the life of the contract, but also, he could light it up in LA for 2 years and be back on the market again. So why the hell not?
Devil's advocate, he could freaking get hurt and then he's done.
That's the risk reward. So where's your head at?
I'm for this probably because of the Phillies bias. I would take the years. It's all guaranteed money in baseball. Take the years, have a team build around you with all young players and get that shot at a championship for multiple years. And be on a team where the NL is probably going to go to the DH in the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years. Going to the DH, man, you dwindle down. You still have 5 more years on your contract. You play DH there. It's perfect.
That's a great point by you, because a lot of people are mentioning that in the background here of the Phillies deal, saying, hey, the end of these deals never work out, a la Alex Rodriguez, Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols. But with the DH option, you could potentially bury his defense and just keep that bat, and that typically lasts a little bit longer than the athleticism in the outfield.
I mean, it's just a perfect situation in Philadelphia. Did you not see what Ryan Howard did? As a lefty power hitter in that ballpark, you're going to crush home runs. And that's exactly what the Phillies need. They need an outfielder, lefty power bat.
I agree with you, and the long ball is definitely going to be coming, and I know in the presentations they've done with him, they showed that he would have had 8 more home runs at Citizens Bank compared to Nationals Park due to the dimensions and the ball flight and the carry and things along those lines. So the opportunity to put up huge numbers and, you know, even further his Hall of Fame case, which I'm sure as well the Phillies are pushing at him, would be to put up these numbers over the course of 8 to 10 years.
It's a no-brainer, and I think it's going to happen. I think Boris is just meeting with these teams just to get as much money out of the Phillies he can get.
Yeah, it's definitely the play for the agent, right? So I give him credit for doing his due diligence as well to try to drive the price up as much as he can, because that's his job.
Right. And I just need him in Clearwater getting with this team and getting ready for hopefully a nice long playoff run in the season.
For sure. But speaking of home runs, did you see the home run hitter from the NFL who's been flirting with a few Philadelphia Eagles on social media over the past couple days?
Bro, if AB comes to Philadelphia, I have no idea what I'm going to do, because I love Antonio Brown. I think he is an amazing player to watch. Every time the ball goes up to him, he somehow comes down with it, even though he's short. If you throw a freaking screen to him, he could take it 80 yards to the house the other way. I just think that's what the freaking Eagles need, is a speed receiver that can stretch the field. And then you got Alshon and Aguilar. Well, I would love it.
The question is, though, if they'd have to move on from Aguilar to bring in Antonio Brown, because Aguilar is due $9 million next year, which is a good amount of money for a receiver. So if you trade him, I don't think you have to carry any of that money because it's an option year, and I don't know what he would be worth on the market, but I mean, replacing Aguilar with Antonio Brown and then sliding in somebody like a Mac Hollins or a draft pick this year that you don't have to give up is another avenue that people are saying they could take.
That probably would be the route they would go. I would assume that with adding AB with Alshon and then already having Zach Ertz and Goddard, you're looking at maybe the most electric receiving core out there. And then you just throw in, like you said, a draft pick. You still have Mac Hollins coming off an injury. Or you just pick up a Torrey Smith-esque free agent, and there you go.
Re-sign Mike Wallace for cheap or something, right?
Exactly, something like that. I mean, I think Mike Wallace and AB played together in Pittsburgh.
So let me ask you this, and it's going to reference my bold prediction that we had a few episodes ago where I said Le'Veon Bell is going to end up in Philadelphia. If I change my bold prediction to one of Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown is going to end up in Philadelphia, A, which one do you think is more likely? And B, which one would you rather see happen?
I thought you were going to throw me with B, does it still count as a great selection of bold prediction by you? Steelers Pro Bowler is going to come to the Eagles.
Exactly. So which one do you think and which one do you want?
Honestly, man, I'd go AB. I just love watching him play. And running back, you could always pick up somebody. I mean, we still have Corey. We still have Josh Adams, who I want to see a lot more of this year. I would go the receiver route just because they're harder to come by.
Do you think that's the way they go?
I do think that's the way they end up going. I think it'll be cheaper for them, and I think they can make the money work better that way.
Yeah, see, I see them still going running back just due to the simplicity of the roster moves. Because like I mentioned, if you bring AB in, then you have to trade Aguilar, and then you have to worry about money complications. So it's certainly a viable option, but it is definitely more complicated than just, hey, we need to cut people or restructure and literally just give that money to Le'Veon Bell because we don't have anybody at that position right now. And if you miss on Brown, you still keep Aguilar and you have Bell and all these guys. It's just as formidable of an offense.
in my opinion, and the Eagles haven't had a running back that touches the ball 200, 300 times since Shady McCoy got dealt away.
Oh, don't bring that up. Miss Shady being in Philly.
They're talking about bringing him back for a mid-round draft pick as well with some of the turnover in Buffalo, and he's on the last year of that deal.
Well, if you're telling me Shady, AB are coming to Philly, I'll happily send Aguilar away myself.
And all the draft picks. Just bring me those guys. And some D-line and O-line help, and we're good.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. I can't wait for the Philadelphia Eagles to start again.
I don't want to blow this. This is what all good law enforcement officers dream of. The chance to solve an actual crime.
Do you know what this is?
Yes, it's marijuana.
How do you know that?
It's labeled.
Damn it.
That is Northern Lights cannabis indica.
No. It's marijuana.
I'm just saying that you can't be sure that it wasn't you.
That's ridiculous. Of course it wasn't me.
Marijuana is a memory loss drug, so maybe you just don't remember.
I would remember.
Well, how could you if it just erased your memory?
That's not how it works.
Now, how do you know how it works?
Knock it off, okay? I'm interviewing you.
No, you said that I'd be conducting the interview when I walked in here. Now, exactly how much pot did you smoke?
So we mentioned the Eagles, but as we like to share here on the Too Close to Call cast, we have some football going on currently, baby. We had 4 more games this past weekend in our week 2/3 of fantasy football AAF.
And I saw that my running backs continue to dominate.
The guy, Trent Richardson, just keeps scoring touchdowns. He only has 20 yards again, so he still sucks, like I said, but he's the Mike Allstott of the AAF, baby, just pounding it in from 3 yards out.
Hey, man, whatever gets the job done. I believe with those running backs, I should have had a substantial lead on you.
Yeah, Richardson got you 25. Gardner from the Fleet, another good pick, got you 22. Ross, a wide receiver, got you 17, and my highest guy got 19. So that'll tell you right there where the final score was Pags' team 108, Miho's team 71, and a whitewash for the weekend.
High score of the early AAF fantasy.
Right, man. Total points, I think you're ahead of me still, but I actually have a couple of roster moves I'd like to make if you're taking notes here, Commissioner.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to make 2 moves here, and I know I sent these into you via text earlier, and you had not objected to them, so haha, I saw some names before you did, but I'm actually going to pick up Zach Mettenberger, the former LSU quarterback who's going to take over for Christian Hackenberg for the Express, because Hackenberg sucks.
He continues to blow.
It's unbelievable. And Mettenberger came in slinging it around. Well, I'm dropping Wolford, my quarterback, because reps were being taken from him by Trevor Knight, the former Oklahoma and Texas A&M quarterback for the Hot Shots. So he's not even going to play the whole game.
Okay. Wolford's dropped, Mettenberger added. What's your other one?
My other one is my running back who went from starter to bench to now off my squad is Mr. Hunt. Threw up another fucking 0 or 1 point game, and I'm going to take D. Ernest Johnson, who's on the same squad, straight up, because he seems to be the guy getting the rock for them instead of Mr. Hunt.
There you go. Let's see if it works out. My team is unstoppable, 1-0 this week. That's the way we like to look at it, and expecting another solid week out of my running backs.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Does the AAF have bye weeks?
No, they do not. 10 games straight through, and then I think it's 2-week playoff out of the top 4. But how about I read that the investment the guy made that everybody was saying is for payroll is literally a week-to-week investment, and he can pull it at any time if he deems the investment is no longer valuable. So how long do you think they even fucking make it in this league?
Good God, I don't know, but that job security is just getting worse and worse at this place.
So hopefully they keep getting paid, but who the hell knows?
That's crazy, man. I don't know what I would do week by week. Like, am I going to get my check? Yep, we got it another week.
Let's go, baby. Got paid again.
If you're living your dream, you're playing football, and there's even a glimmer of hope that you're going to play in the NFL, I guess it's worth it.
Absolutely, right? Why not, man? Why not? But I wanted to end this 18th episode of the Too Close to Call cast with a shout-out to a former Lehigh Mountain Hawk fellow student athlete with me, Mr. CJ McCollum, who had his jersey retired at Stabler Arena yesterday for the Mountain Hawks. So I want to give a shout out to him and congratulate him for getting his jersey up in the rafters. I know there's only a handful up there, and it's a great honor for him to receive that award. And Pags, listen to this, right? So I may have been part of what were literally the best glory years for Lehigh Athletics, where they put C.J. McCollum's jersey in the rafters. They also retired a women's basketball player named Erica Prosser, who was my year. They retired her jersey with C.J., as well as I know Will Rackley's jersey is going to be retired here in the near future. So I was literally friends with and went to school with the best men's basketball player ever to come out of Lehigh and probably the best football player to ever come out of Lehigh. That's pretty crazy.
Dude, that is nuts. And I've partied with both of them, so there you go.
That's it, right? That's it. But the reason I bring that up and congratulate CJ is because our guest this Friday is going to be a gentleman by the name of John Adams, who was a starter on the Lehigh men's basketball team. He was 1 year older than CJ, but he was a starter on the team that beat Duke in the NCAA tournament March Madness as a 15 seed, upsetting the number 2 seed Duke Blue Devils.
Oh, that was one of the best nights in college, watching Duke go down to Lehigh. Oh, man, that was sweet. That was some sweet revenge on old Duke.
That's right, and then almost pulling it off against Xavier in the next round to make the Sweet 16, but we'll get some behind-the-scenes stories on that tournament itself, what happened after that game, how crazy things got. We'll get a couple stories about CJ from the locker room and things like that should make you guys laugh, but I think you guys are going to like that interview, and like I mentioned, we'll bring that back for this Friday's episode. But one last congratulations to my boy CJ out there, man. Well done getting the jersey up in the rafters.
Absolutely, man. While you were talking there, I kind of had an little idea of a little segment we could do coming up with March Madness.
Hit me.
I think we should pick every single conference champion.
All the automatic qualifiers.
All of them. Like, go week by week, because it's a long process of conference championships, and everybody watches the Big Ten, the Big East, the ACC, the Big 12, all of those. Why don't we give some love to the NEC and the Horizon League and the Western Athletic Conference, which I'm going to go ahead and say I call Gonzaga.
And those Lehigh Mountain Hawks in the Patriot League.
Exactly. I'm going to take the Tribe and the CAA.
Just because we have to every year.
Absolutely, man. I think that would be fun and kind of get other people involved in this podcast.
Absolutely. I like that. That'll be coming up here in the next couple of weeks, right? Those have to be starting soon.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to start next week, start our picks, because I think conference champions begin next weekend.
Perfect. I like it. So be on the lookout out there, listeners. As always, we appreciate you listening. Share us with your friends for the 2Close2Call cast. We're out there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at 2Close2Call, the number 2 both times. And we appreciate all the feedback and interaction we've been getting. We'll keep posting, reading what you guys are saying, change up the show if you have any suggestions. And as always, you guys basically drive the show, and we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, and be on the lookout. We're going to start posting some videos of us doing these podcasts. So we're getting the old GoPro up. We're getting some Skype videos going, and we're going to have those posted out for you guys to take a look at as well, so you can see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, our YouTube channel is going to pick up the activity. I know we've just been putting the audio with a picture over it. Well, now, like Pac said, you're going to be able to see our mugs and enjoy our faces.
I better shave.
Yeah, right. I better get a haircut, but oh, man. Anyway, guys, like we said, thanks for listening. That's the 18th episode of the 2Close2Call cast.
Later, guys.
Peace.